Good day, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the Gist with Loba, and I am Loba.
Okay, what do you mean when you say that Annie slept her way to the top?
Okay, I'm gonna say it again. I said I did not mean it in that manner.
What did you mean?
She slept her way to the top, not in that manner, but well, she's not on the top. She's on the bottom.
In this video, we'll be doing the review of Real Housewives of Durban Reunion Part 2. But before I start, before we discuss Real Housewives of Durban Reunion Part 1, please subscribe to this YouTube channel because yes, I have the gist for you and I'll always give you the gist. So I want to talk about the host, that's Mbali or wherever his name is. I know that sounds rude to just call somebody's name wherever, but it's a South African name and I can't really pronounce it correctly, so I'll just stay away from that. So it's actually wonderful how well he was able to do his job as the host. He seemed unbiased and so much most of them were not able to go away from questions which they need to answer, and it's just so well that he did that. And it's like it not just actually come and do this for the fact that he wants to do it, but for the fact that yes, he wants to give justice to this conversation and give justice to everything and make sure that they all discuss everything that is needed to be discussed. And where I realized he was doing so well with his job is when he even had to take back Annie and Nonku to the conversation from even season 1 in during this reunion. I was like, wow, this guy knows his onion. So let us just start with how it all started. Actually, the reunion filming and the costume and everything seemed very fine and the rest, but I felt like it was too much. But it is what it is, and it was a very wonderful one. One of the earliest conversation they had is that of Mbali's absence during the show. You know, Mbali had always been someone who was like on and off during the filming of the show or like during the show, and they actually questioned why she was always like that. And all she could say was that she had acting gigs and the rest, so she could not always be on set for the filming of the Real Housewives. So it was more like, but it was more like a shade on her side, something like that. So it was quite interesting. Then Slee had to actually answer question about abandoning her children just to go and stay with another man for 6 years and the rest. And she was like, she did not really just abandon them. She was there for them, but they are their father and the rest. So she actually just justified her action and the rest. So that was that. Then we now come to the conversation of Sorisha. You know, so far for this season 3, Sorisha actually turned out to be a different person from who we used to see Sorisha like to be. That's like season 1 and season 2. Sorisha was someone who was like calm, collected, always like looking for peace, always wanting everything to go out fine. She never wants to step on anybody's toe. But this season 3, she was unapologetic about things and the rest. And this actually give us an insight or probably let us see another shade of Sorisha. And I feel if Sorisha had been an actress, I would have been like probably she was acting all along, probably other season or maybe this season she had decided to act out this character. But I feel for the fact that she's not an actress and the rest, and we all saw how Annie was able to bring out this character in her. You know, Annie is one of these cast on this show who is very unapologetic. So seeing the influence of Annie in Sorisha's life is a very interesting one. So the question now is like this influence, this new Sorisha who is blunt, who do not actually take trash from other casts of this show. Like, is this like can we say this like a better Sorisha, or she should have stick to being the peaceful Sorisha? For me, I feel like this one is a better one. At least at this point, they cannot always just push her around the way they always do. So that is that. Then the next conversation was the Votsek comments. You know, I think that episode was one episode that seemed so interesting. During I think it was during Slee's event, and the Votsek comments from Sorisha was something many people never like kind of think she would have said. And now they asked Sorisha why did she say that? Will she actually take back that comment? And she was like, no, she won't, because she just did tell them to just go away. And for Nonku, I feel Nonku was not trying to, let's say, manipulate or trying to change the context of that for sake comment and trying to make it feel like, oh, she called us a dog. And in defense, it's not even seem more horrible when Sorisha was like, she won't even tell her dog Votsek. Just seemed so bad because it was the buzz was like getting higher. So after that, we had So after this would say comments, then what's his name? The host actually then go into the conversation about Nonku. And Nonku and RD were like a thing this season. And so much about this season was like so much about Nonku was more about herself and Arof Diamond. So their love story was an interesting one, but getting to know that Rough Diamond is like an ex-convict. He had gone to jail. He was accused of rape and the rest. And the height of it is the fact that it was not even probably it was something he did not do. It was like he really raped someone. Or let me just get out of that conversation. So now they asked Nonku about the relationship and everything, and she was like, "Oh, it's a legal issue. She don't want to talk about it and the rest." Then this now, I now feel like this is one strategy most of these cast now bring into reunion, because this same thing happened during Real Housewives of Cape Town reunion. One of the cast was like, "Oh, it's a legal issue. She don't want to talk about it on national TV and the rest." Like seriously, I feel this same strategy was what Nonku wanted to do so that she can't talk about it and how everything went up. But kudos to the host once again, because in as much as she had actually earlier said, "Oh, she don't want to talk about it on the show, it's a legal issue," he was still able to get the gist from her. Wow, despite that claim that it's a legal issue, it's now in court and the rest, and she don't want to talk about it. Then she was able to make it known that they have broken up, and she really confirmed that they're stealing and the rest, which had actually led to them taking themselves to court. Nonku also talked about the fact that she actually knew he did rape someone, he had gone to prison and the rest, but in as much as she knew all of that, she was still ready to love him, she was still ready to be with him and the rest. And Jojo, who was the only one among the group or in the group who approved this relationship, now actually was asked why did she, and she was like, she saw a better side, she saw a different side, which was not like a very justifiable answer to me. So now the question, now many people are now judging Nonku for, despite knowing all she know about this guy, was his name, RD, she still went on to have that relationship with him. For me, I feel like the mistake she made was making him being part of this reality TV show, and like she should have actually made that life or that part of her life outside of the media or like publicity something. So that's that. Then after all of this conversation, Ruan and Sane was introduced to the show. So this is a very interesting part because we all knew how bad Sane was on the show. We knew what Sane did and everything. So she had to come and be accountable for all her action, all she did say during the show. But it's so funny how Sane is not being accountable. Sane is like a politician. She's just always finding a way to dodge question. She's just like, it was just so annoying, like watching how she was just playing out with everything, being, let's say, dramatic. Like everything she was doing yesterday was annoying, and I'm looking forward to probably if there will be a new season or if they'll be renewing this show. I don't really think Sana is worth to be on the show. So let us get into the conversation, which actually was part of the conversation. Let us dive into the conversation that turned up to be the conversation after Sane and Ruan made it to the show. So one funny thing about the part where Sane and Ruan actually joined was how they were able to bring a lot of clips about Ruan, and he was always shaking his head like that. It was so funny, and I never even noticed that when the show was going on. Then they have this conversation about Ruan, Jojo, and Maria, and how their dynamic actually turned out. Where Ruan had to pick a struggle, and he chose Jojo over Maria, despite the fact that he had 6 or 7 years relationship with Maria, friendship with Maria, and he decided to go with Jojo, whom he newly became friend with. It's just so crazy. And I feel like many people are judging him for that and the rest. But I feel reason why he decided to go with Jojo is not so, like, I did not really see a valid reason. It was not even giving, it was just there for me, and it was not so much of something interesting, because I feel he should have been able to find a way to come to resolution between these two people. And even if he won't be able to come to resolution between them, he should be able to keep up with his friendship with the two of them. Sane is like drama, she's trouble and the rest. So the very first thing was how she joined the group and how she attacked London. And despite the fact that she actually admitted, no, initially she was not even admitting that she attacked London. She was like, oh, she did not attack her, was that an attack? And the rest. I was like, is it until you start like throwing punch and the rest before you know what you did, attack. That's what they call verbal attack. Like seriously, Sane is just so dramatic. And after the fact that she admitted that okay, she did wrong, then she gave a very that apology is not even fake. That apology is it's another thing that often makes someone annoyed the more because she was like, okay, she's apologizing, but all she said is not a lie. Who is asking you for the truth? But you're saying something which is not a lie, but you know this truth you're saying is hurting someone. You know what you're saying is not something good about someone. So away from this, away from Sane drama and the rest and very annoying apologies, so we have to discuss about Maria and Sorisha. And if you guys can recall, during the first three episodes of this season, Maria had been like on and on about Sorisha don't like me, Sorisha don't like me. But upon getting to see other episodes, they really get to know themselves, get to them, they really get to know themselves and they understood themselves better. So now then the conversation was like, why did she have that impression about Sorisha, regardless of not knowing Sorisha? Then at this point, Maria actually puts it out that it was Jojo who gave her that impression and made her feel like that was what Sorisha. Then the two of them had to go head to head about, oh, I never said this, I said this, and the rest. So that was like a very funny and dramatic one, which I feel could be something because I don't think every regular person will just come and feel like and have that mindset if probably they were not told something prior to joining the group. So that is that for Maria and Sorisha. And I don't want to really see that as like a very big issue. Then they talk about the weed, like what's the name? Sorisha, no? Maria actually did call Nonku like a weed and how she had been the one who is ruining and making and how she had been a bad influence to what's the name? Jojo. So now this conversation was a very interesting one which they had, and I just feel so annoyed about how Nonku was going on and on with the conversation. But it is what it is. Away from that, there is this conversation about Rowan, and I think I already said that earlier self. Then Maria talked about body shaming on the show and how, like, Maria talks about how she was always body shamed on the show, especially for her lip and the rest. And it's just so funny how, what's the name? Nonku is very unapologetic about it and the rest. So it was something like I really find is it amusing? I don't even know because you like she know this thing is wrong, but she's not ready to say I'm sorry about it and the rest. So, but like this is just like the very first episode, so we're looking forward to how things will turn up or turn out this part two of this reunion. So the Mabusi vibe conversation. To an extent, if this Mabusi vibe conversation had not actually come up during this season, I feel Mbali would have just been like, no, should have been in no conversation. She would be so irrelevant. Like she's irrelevant, but the level at which she would be irrelevant would have been higher if this Mabusi conversation had not come up, or probably even during this reunion, she would not even have anything to contribute or to say. So it's just so funny. Then the conversation actually came up, and what's the name? Mbali actually disclosed what she feels or how that conversation or that comment gets to her because she felt like Mabusi was treated like a second class citizen during her stay on the show. That's like season one and season two. How they always feel like she's fake, how they feel like she is like ghetto and the rest. So she felt like telling or getting to hear that someone is attributing such to her. It's not as if she actually look down on Mabusi or feel like Mabusi is less of a person. But for the fact that these people had actually projected her like that and likening her to that person, just actually feel like, oh, this is what you guys, this is what you feel, or this is how you see me, perceive me. So that was like, that's my what's the name, Mbali's reason to be angry and the rest. Then to this other person, what's their name? Nonku. So Nonku was like, no, she feel like Mabusi is independent. Like to an extent, Nonku is just trying to validate her point. What she meant was not really positive. If you guys feel like Nonku meant something positive, I'd like to get to know that on my comment section. So I'm looking forward to your comments. So then the last conversation was Sane's racist comments to Annie. Sane had been like one thing that just annoyed me the most is how Sane started having amnesia, how her voice is going, she can't talk, now she forgets things. And initially she was like, no, she cannot remember saying that. She'd never said that. They played the tape where she did say that, like they played the video to her, and she was still like she cannot remember. I don't get. Are you blind or are you deaf? It's just so crazy how Sane had came prepared. She's like, she's just ready to do nasty things on the show because she's not taking accountability in any way, and it's slipping her way to the top. The conversation about that, even Sane's comments about that was just so annoying. Like, I just find that boring because she was not really making sense, and all her lies from the season two were something I feel will be discussed or delved into. I'll be looking forward to the part two of this reunion, and probably we see more, or probably they come to a resolution. Bye for now.